Obviously, a good weekend in New York. I was really, really proud of our guys. I keep telling you guys how much I enjoy this basketball team, and it's very much the case. I think it's credit to Tevian, his resiliency. Things haven't been easy for him, and yet we started to see him blossom and see his talent. It was nice to keep him out of foul trouble and keep him on the floor. I thought Allen did some great things. I thought Adonis, even though it doesn't show in the stat line, his activity was very, very good. His physicality put a body on Bruno. And then it was nice to do what you're supposed to do at the end of a game, which is execute, get stops, and then make free throws. And to be noted also, Trent Frazier was incredible. The job he did on Anthony Cowan. We face guarded him, we took him out of it. We made other guys make decisions, and that put Ayala and some of their other guys in discomfort. And that was a big reason, the 21 turnovers. But 35 points off our bench. I thought our guards, Andres in particular, did an unbelievable job of tracking down balls. The 50-50 balls became ours, and that leads to a win against a very, very good Maryland team.
You mentioned keeping Tevian out of foul trouble. Is that what you have been seeing from him since he's been back? That kind of play, and keeping him on the court even resonated that even further. Saturday.
Well, you think about the Iowa game, you think about the first Minnesota game. I mean, he jumps up and hits a shot to start the game, and then he's in no rhythm because he's sitting on the bench next to me with a couple of fouls, and you know, a lot of that I attribute to anxiety and nervousness and just being back. But you know, he's starting to be more comfortable. The ball looks great when it comes off his hand. He was on balance, and you know, that I think the one thing that we know is he can really run. He's a very good shooter, and that was evident Saturday in the Garden.
What does it say about him that after the season that he kind of had being suspended, what does it say about him that he didn't let that kind of beat him down and he still kept working and trying to get back in the lineup and everything?
That's what I keep saying about this team. This locker room is full of character guys. And not characters, guys with high character. And, you know, it's a special moment. It's why you coach, is to walk into locker rooms like that after a game and to have as many losses as we have, and yet be in the lead in so many games. We knew we were getting close. We knew we were getting better continually, even though the results didn't always show that. And it's nice to put that game together. And literally, I mean, they're as talented a basketball team as there is in the Big Ten, and for us to do that meant a lot. And again, it goes to the character of the locker room.
Was it just about as how you guys won it, you know, closing it down the stretch with a close game and free throws and maybe games that had slipped away previously in the past? Was that more satisfying to see that?
Well, it's the way conference games usually go. You know, conference games are usually close. You have to execute, you have to hit a stop, and you have to make free throws. And you know, you look back one game, the Wisconsin game, that's exactly what Wisconsin did to us, was execute and make free throws and to make stops. And now we were able to flip that. And that's what good basketball teams do in conference plays, make those plays. And it is very satisfying to see that, and this team's growing.
63 of the 78 points were scored by somebody who was not in a jersey here last year. What does that tell you? Does it say anything about, you know, the time it takes to gel and come together on the floor over the course of the season?
Yeah, it's really hard. And when you're playing it at the highest levels and you're playing against teams that, you know, Mark's been in Maryland 8-9 years, and you start looking at the Wisconsin program, and I'm not just saying Greg, I'm saying, you know, what's been done there before. That system's been in place for 25, 30 years, and it takes time to develop a chemistry. It takes time to find a comfort. It takes time to find a confidence, and we're starting to see that. And you know, it's nothing comes easy in basketball. Everything's really, really hard, and to have those kind of numbers from new guys shows our growth. And I kept saying we would be a better basketball team month by month. The results haven't necessarily shown that, but we have gotten better. And you look at our defensive numbers have gotten steadily better throughout the year, and that's chemistry and understanding. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with that.
Now you get Minnesota in their place. I'm sure they're going to be
You
thinking
think?
revenge. Yeah.
You
and
think?
What's the challenge too, especially this quick of a turnaround since you last saw them?
Yeah, it's it can be an advantage. Having them this quick, it could be a disadvantage. We know we're getting a different Minnesota team than we saw here, and you look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. They've Coffee, Gabe, Kalsher, all those guys shoot it better at home. They play a little faster at home. So we know we're getting a different team. That's a great challenge for us, and we expect it. And we should be. We've had 2 great days of practice, and I expect us to go in there, and no matter what the temperature is, and play our tails off. And that's we've got to bring the fight.
27 fast break points, the most you've had since you've been here. You had 21 against Minnesota, but how encouraging is that to take those steps there? I know that's a big part of what you want to do.
Well, pace is important, and I think that that's one of the reasons we recruited Tevian. It's one of the reasons we recruited Allen. It's one of the reasons we recruited Io. Those guys can play that way, and when we play in space, we're a good basketball team, and our turnovers have been limited. Being able to do that, we're making better decisions, playing fast. That's one of the great challenges is not just with a new team, but with any team, is making decisions when you play with speed and pace. And we're getting there. And we made it difficult for them to play both bigs because Tevian was running the court so hard, and he's making shots. And we get the floor space, then we can drive it, and that opened up Tevian and Io and Andres in their drives. So, one leads to the other, and I love those numbers.
You mentioned how Tavian isn't really shy to shoot the ball. I mean, comes in the game just instantly starts shooting. Is that kind of that role you could see him playing out, being that guy that's kind of instant offense off the bench for you?
He definitely likes to shoot it, and it's what he does. I think he's comfortable. I think he's there's not a lot of guys who can do that, who can come in and just instantly feel it and have the confidence to do that, and yet he's very good at it. And when Tev's on balance and he's shooting it, he's got such a quick release, and that thing looks great coming off his hand. He's one of those guys that every time he shoots it, you think he's going to make it, and we've been seeing that in practice. He's got another level of his game. He's got a great shot fake and a little floater and pull up, and he's a very gifted offensive player. So he's got some freedoms with that.
Seems like Andres was just as if not more important in that game. What's been key for him that he's had a resurgence here last few ball games?
First of all, it started on the defensive end for him. He's been super active defensively. He's chasing balls down, and he's a pit bull, in terms of his mentality. And you saw him miss a layup and get one blocked, and then chase a ball down from behind and make a tremendous hustle play. And then he turns around, and I think you find out his character. It's he and Bruno one-on-one, and he's jumping up trying to dunk that thing over the best athlete in our league, and that's either not very smart or really smart, but that's his mentality. So he's playing with a lot more confidence and a lot more understanding of he's not in junior college anymore, and all those drives he had in junior college ended up in layups because there's no size, and now he understands where he can spray it and when he can finish. So he's becoming a more confident player as well.
You mentioned with Tevian and his foul trouble against Minnesota and Iowa, just that might have been just trying to find some comfort and confidence. Did you see anything leading up to Saturday where you thought that maybe he had settled in and just found a more comfortable spot?
I don't think there was just one thing. I think it's just been you have to go out there and do it. You have to put the bright lights on, and you have to play in front of people in the seats, and we've seen the progression every day in practice. We've seen the confidence. He's had great practices leading up to that, and so it was just a matter of time. I didn't know when it was going to come, and Saturday happened to be a great day, and doing it in one of the great venues against one of the best teams in the country.
The Big Ten tournament was there last year, but a lot of these guys weren't on that team. So what does the stage like that do for this young team?
Well, no doubt they were excited. I mean, Georgie, and when you know Georgie's story and you know Samba's story, and Samba grew up playing on dirt basketball courts, and everybody knows of Madison Square Garden, and it was exciting the day. I'm glad we got to practice in there the day before, and that was exciting. And every kid dreams of playing in Madison Square Garden at some point, and for those kids to be able to do that was special, and we'll look to go back as often as we can because of that. That's a pretty cool deal for these guys.
How has Trent maybe grown defensively just in the last year?
He's been our best defender all year, and I think that Trent's got great feel. He's got great instincts, and then he's tireless. It's very hard to get Trent tired. People have no idea how exhausting it is to face guard and chase a guy like Anthony Cowan around. And when you see late in the game, Cowan's tired, and Trent's still face guarding him, wearing him out. Now, does that take away from Trent offensively? Probably a little bit. He hit the 2 threes to get us going in the second half, and then really it was Dre and Io and Tev doing a lot of the offensive stuff. But we would not have won had Trent not done his part defensively. And he's tenacious, he's ferocious, he's everything that you look for in a competitor, and he makes all the plays defensively that you have to win.
Pumped in some "Rock Me Like a Hurricane" at the end of practice. Is that coming from your iTunes?
No, that was our sports information director Derek Burson's iTunes today. We questioned a lot of things. He also had YMCA and a few other things on there that had me a little concerned about his well-being. But we try to, when we go on the road, we try to make it a high energy, high level. It forces them to really have to communicate without being able to hear, and point and talk and huddle. So we've tried to instill a lot of that this year with this group, and there was some rush in there, and there was some good stuff too.
No, the road environments are tough. What makes that barn unique?
Well, the acoustics in that place are tremendous, as they are in so many of the old buildings. Just people are on top of you. It's loud. It's different because of the raised floor, but there's a lot of history, nostalgia. You're talking about a building built in the 20s. I'm a big fan of those buildings, and hopefully there's nobody there. They all stay home from the cold tomorrow. But I enjoy those buildings.
Does it matter to you the going from the negatives here to the difference up there? I know basketball's indoors, but traveling to negative temperatures like that.
No, you just want everybody to be safe, and our immediate concerns are the fans and our travel. And again, we are indoors, and we get, we have a short walk from the bus to the arena, but and then you're worried about it. You're flying, and I hope planes are good at 50 below. But that's the most important piece is just safety issues.
You mentioned the floor. Williams, you're in it. Do you talk to the guys about the fact that you can fall off?
Nah, that'd give us one more thing to have to worry about. And there's enough space there. I mean, I guess you dive for a loose ball and you're sweaty. You could fall off into somebody's lap, but it's unique, and it's also kind of that big stage kind of feel, and there was a little bit of that in the Garden, because it's of the lighting in the Garden. But we'll not get too concerned about falling off.
Coach, this is arguably the biggest win of your tenure that you guys are coming off of so far. With the young team, what was your message about going back on the road after a win like that?
Well, I think it's the next game. It's about learning. The last time we we beat Minnesota here. Our next game wasn't very good. We didn't handle that very well, and now we get a team that we're familiar with. Yet we get a team that we know is going to be angry, and it's about the every game, every day mentality. We haven't changed that, and yeah, I want them to feel confident because we beat a really good Maryland team, and now it's the next step, which is the toughness, the aggressiveness to do it again, and know that the way people look at you may change, and we got to respond to that. So we've been good the last 2 days in practice, so we'll hope that continues.
Have you talked to Tev at all about, just kind of the increased attention that he's received just as a result of his breakout performance?
Nah, I just told him I was really proud of him. I'm as happy for that young man as anybody, and to go through the natural progression and stick with it. Pretty proud of that kid. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.